Welcome to CriolloWise podcast, the evolution of the Criollo breed around the world.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We've got a really cool one today. Criollo horse breeding.
Oh, yeah.
This should be fun. You sent over some really fascinating research on their reproductive cycle.
Right.
And I gotta say, it's pretty incredible stuff. I mean, we all know Criollos, right? They're known for being tough, super resilient.
Right.
But I had no idea their reproductive system was so unique.
Oh, it is. It's fascinating. There's a lot going on there. And I think for breeders especially, this is going to be really eye-opening.
Yeah, I think you're right. So let's just jump right in. Okay. First thing that really jumped out at me in this research, the number of follicles that Criollo mares develop.
Oh, yeah.
An average of 13.5?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, is that normal?
Well, it's definitely on the high end. You know, most breeds you're looking at maybe half that number.
Yeah.
So to see 13.5 on average,
right,
that's pretty impressive. And what it means, practically speaking, is that you have a lot more potential eggs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. And that means a lot more chances for a successful pregnancy.
So more bang for your buck, so to speak.
Exactly. And it could even have implications for things like embryo transfer.
Oh, interesting.
If you're able to harvest multiple embryos from a single mare, that could be huge for breeding programs.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not just about the number of follicles, right? The research also mentioned their size.
Oh, yeah. Those follicles get big.
43 millimeters.
That's a big follicle.
I mean, that's got to be significant, right?
Oh, it absolutely is. Think of it this way.
Okay.
The follicle is basically the structure that houses the egg.
Right.
And the bigger the follicle, the more mature the egg is likely to be.
Okay.
And a mature egg means a better chance of fertilization.
So size does matter.
It really does in this case.
All right. Moving on to this corpus luteum, or CL.
Yeah, the CL.
It keeps coming up in this research, and it seems like it goes through some pretty dramatic changes throughout the cycle.
Well, it does, and it's really all about hormones. The CL is responsible for producing progesterone, which is essential for maintaining a pregnancy.
So it's like the pregnancy hormone.
Exactly. Yeah. And as the CL grows and shrinks, it's basically adjusting the levels of progesterone to create the optimal environment for a potential pregnancy.
So by tracking the CL, breeders can get a better idea of when a mare is most likely to conceive.
That's the idea. It's all about timing, right? And by understanding how the CL functions, you can really start to fine-tune your breeding program.
Okay, that's incredible. Now, the research also talks about these changes in cervical and uterine tone in Criollo mares.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Well, it's all about creating the perfect environment for fertilization.
Right.
The cervix and uterus, they're not static structures.
Yeah.
They change throughout the cycle, becoming more relaxed or more firm.
Okay.
And that's all driven by hormones like progesterone and estradiol.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you have this intricate dance going on where the cervix and uterus are changing their tone to facilitate sperm transport and make sure the egg has the best possible chance of being fertilized.
So the uterus is basically preparing the dance floor for the egg.
That's a great way to put it.
All right. And what's really cool is that the research mentioned that these patterns, they're pretty consistent in individual mares.
That's right.
So does that mean, like, you could almost predict when a mare is going to be most fertile?
That's exactly what it means. And that's a huge advantage for breeders.
Yeah.
Because if you know how a mare's cycle works, you can time insemination perfectly.
Right.
You can really increase your chances of success.
Okay, last thing I wanted to touch on is the endometrial ecotexture score. I have to admit, I'm not totally clear on what that means.
No problem. It's basically a way of assessing the uterine lining using ultrasound.
Okay.
So you're looking at how bright or dark the lining appears on the ultrasound image.
Okay.
And that gives you clues about its readiness for implantation.
Oh, I see. So is it like if the score is high, that means the lining is ready for a fertilized egg?
Exactly. It's like checking the soil before you plant a seed. You want to make sure it's fertile and ready to support growth.
Right, right.
And here's the really interesting thing about Criollos.
Yeah.
They tend to reach their peak endometrial receptivity a little earlier than some other breeds.
Really? How much earlier?
Maybe 1 or 2 days.
That's significant.
It can be. It means that breeders really need to pay close attention to the timing.
Yeah.
Because if you miss that window, you miss your chance.
So we've talked about follicle development, the corpus luteum, cervical and uterine tone changes.
Yeah.
Endometrial echotexture. It seems like all these things are happening in perfect sync.
Absolutely.
To make sure that these mares can reproduce successfully.
It's a beautiful system.
It is.
And the more we understand about it,
right,
the better we can care for these animals.
Well, you've definitely given us a lot to think about. So to all of you Criollo breeders out there, pay attention to these details. They can make all the difference.
That's right.
And thanks so much for joining us for another deep dive. We'll be back soon with more fascinating insights. Until then, happy trails, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Of course. It was fun. It was great.